the spot right here. This is where it happened.
I was playing in some bands around town, and he had this really, piss poor of a comedy show, to be honest with you, and he needed a little help with it. And, I just like to help out the community whenever I can, so, I thought maybe we'll give this little guy a shot, and, that's kind of how it all started, me being a good guy and, doing someone a favor.
He was the bartender at a shitty bar I was in when the Meltdown was new, and honestly I just needed somebody to help me pack gear back into my car, and I told him that if he did it I would let him play a little bit of guitar on it too, and we kind of developed a sort of what he would consider a friendship. I let him play a little guitar on the side. I called him the band leader, which is a joke because there's no band. He's the only person in the band.
Well, I noticed right away that Morris was an asshole. Well, there started to be a little more musical stuff in it, and then this whole virus thing hit. We started going online with it, and moved in together, and started making what I considered to be pretty good content at first.
We were some of the first people to have live internet comedy figured out. We were crushing it left and right. We were making high art like early SNL, like early SNL, right? Back when it was very cocaine fueled and they had all the drugs and they were doing all the drugs all the time. We were like early SNL. And it was really nice, just to be generating positive influence worldwide and uplifting everyone's spirits, and being the only thing that stopped them from killing themselves in a pandemic.
But then the egos got to us.
Yeah, we were entertainment first responders. When people cheer at 7 p.m., they should be chanting Meltdown.
And of course, who could forget the infamous dollar store incident?
We were inside getting some supplies for the show at our friendly local dollar store, and I came out and there was this horde of people. It was just like a cluster. It was like a big cluster, and they recognized me right away. And they're like, "Are you Morris Bartlett of the Meltdown?" And I was like, "Yes. Oh my God, yes." Right? And then people heard me say it, and they started gathering. Right? And then soon all this street was just completely choked with people. And they were forming orderly lines. They had signs. They were making signs. They went in to go buy stuff for signs. And they were like, all the boys want to be you and all the girls want to do you.
So I kind of come out of the store and there's these two people. I specifically remember it was two. There were two people. Kind of vaguely looking at Morris, not really sure if he was like a homeless guy or if he was going to mug them. That's kind of the vibe I was getting. And then when I walked out, instantly, of course, they recognized me, right? Even without the guitar, because I have a pretty, recognizable face, well-chiseled jawline. I'm just a good-looking person all around. They recognized me right away, and I introduced Morris to them, like, oh yeah, this is the host, right, of the show. And it was great. I signed her boob, and we went on our merry way.
Ty came out, and I was like, hey guys, this is Tyler. He's the leader of the Meltdown band. And they were like, there's a band? I was like, yeah, of course, he's an integral part of the show. And they were like, oh, it's nice that you have employees and stuff, but we're here for you, right? And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess, but Tyler deserves, a lot of the credit, and they didn't seem to agree.
We both let it get to our heads a little, but I think Morris more than anybody. Just crazy demands, wanting a green room, red M&Ms. I'm like, it's a pandemic and we both live in the same house. Very, very strange. And then that show was, well, even more epic than the dollar store incident. Shit really fell apart.
Once we started getting a little success, once the money started rolling in, the show was making millions and millions of dollars, but he kept asking like he had a contribution. He was like, I don't know, maybe I could just make $100 a show or something. I'm literally starving to death, and I felt bad for the guy. And so he started trying to put in more effort in his own sort of way, you know, like he was trying to do these complex musical intros to people, and he said that it was really like shaping the feeling of the show, and you know, I always wanted him to feel like, you know, like he was slightly better than he actually is. So I let him have that.
He had a couple little, you know, little cheap little zingers towards me.
It was a regular show. We were well booked as always. I do the booking myself, so of course it was going to be incredible. But he had kind of let it get to his head a little bit, and so he was playing extra loud and extra long and drowning me out and like trying to crowd into the camera. And you know, eventually I had to start just politely just asking him, you know, could you please be a little more considerate of the show? At one point I had to physically reach over and stop him from playing his guitar so that I could finish the introduction, and he was a real prissy bitch about it.
The big thing was him stopping my playing. You don't ever do that.
Like, he claimed it was difficult, but I've played Guitar Hero on hard, and it only took me a couple of weeks to do, like, Through the Fire and Flames, and I don't get it. I don't care. Who really even likes music?
Oh, I stormed right off the set. I'm a professional. I almost made it to several unions. I was just shy of a credit or two. The point is, I'm a goddamn professional, and I don't have to put up with this. So I did what any professional would do. I threw a temper tantrum, and I stormed off of that set.
My first reaction was like, thank God, you know, now I can make the show right.
You know, basically, Morris just turned into a vampire, and, well, I didn't see him for a long time.
Well, it turns out that without a moderating influence in my life, I can tend to get a little wild. Well, it started off with marijuana, of course. But before long, you know, I was dropping Molly. You know, I was ordering up 8 balls of cocaine. I did some barbiturates. I got an old Quaalude from a museum about drugs from the 70s. 2CB, GHB, DMSO, FART, something I got off the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders that she said she grew inside of herself. I ended up doing poppers and zoomies and ketamine, muscle relaxants and muscle stimulants and muscle growers. Tylenol 3s, Tylenol 2s, Tylenol 1s, baby Tylenol. I had an edible. I baked banana peels in the oven and scraped them and smoked them. I did the cinnamon challenge. I put paprika in my ears. I took some GHB and some barbiturates. Injected Rohypnol into my nutsack.
Oh, I had to change my phone number. I had hundreds of messages from people worrying about us. Well, I mean, after the meltdown had ended, and I had that big blow up, and standing up for myself by just walking out on his stupid face, it was quite liberating. You know, I got to do what I wanted to do, right? What was important to me. And I need to do some work on myself. So, you know, I thought that getting into meditation was a good idea, and I did that, like, really, really well. Well, I wanted to go to Nepal, but because this whole quarantine thing, I just had to practice in our gazebo outside. I just caught on to it really well. I was almost, like, too good at it. It was just really easy. I was like, oh, I was gonna sit there and not think about stuff and whoop-de-doo. But I quickly realized that I was way above Buddhism or any sort of higher power, and that's when I met my art friends.
I've heard that he's started hanging out with these art people. This is called Love Poem from a cis-het white male to his cis-het white girlfriends.
Oh, they are so pretentious. It is the best. I need to find another way for me to express my anger towards Morris and the Meltdown. And what better way than to judge other people's art in a medium I know nothing about.
Her eyes are soft rose petals that I will conscientiously ask to kiss.
Yeah, all descendants from the greats. Andy Warhol, Jack Kerouac, William Burroughs, Lou Reed's Dick. Everybody was there. It was quite the scene.
Her hair is as luscious and lavish as my organically sourced wool sweater.
We have a male feminist beatnik. I don't know what the hell the guy is saying ever, but I just keep, you know, snapping my fingers because that's what everyone else is doing.
Ophelia, Pandora, Calypso, you are the moonlight spilling through my window, keeping me up, thinking about consent.
Right? What'd I tell you?
So
What'd I tell you? What'd I tell you?
Masterpiece.
I believe it. Whew. Someone had told me that he was trying to get clean, but I don't know. I've been too busy judging people.
When I hit rock bottom, I was on one of my private jets to Little St. James Island with my sapphire-encrusted slaves, and FBI fighter jets forced us down to the ground. And they were like, we're charging you with treason. And I was like, you're not allowed to charge me with treason. I pay for immunity. And they were like, your money has run out. And I was like, oh my God, what? And so I did what every megastar in legal trouble does. I immediately checked myself into celebrity rehab, you know, and I figured, you know, I could go hang out with other degenerates like Macaulay Culkin and Taylor Swift. But I gotta be honest, mostly just Andy Dick tried to touch the inside of my butthole. Of my butthole! I didn't think I was ever gonna want to get the Meltdown back together, but I need money. man. Do you want to come do the meltdown?
Hey there, with the pickles. You know, Ty, you had a pretty good thing going with that Morris fella. You should really consider getting back together with him. Yeah, take it from us, and especially if you're gonna do this whole rooftop rip-off us thing. You know, I think... Listen, Jingo, nobody wants to talk to you. Yeah, you should get back together with him. Just do it, Ty.
Yeah, okay, fine. It's really hot up here.